Hey guys, how is everybody doing? With the brand new Expendables 4 coming out in theaters this weekend, I have decided to review the other three Expendables movies. Before I begin, I will admit that these all these movies are first time watch for me. All these movies are first time watches for me. I've never really seen any of these movies. I've seen bits and pieces of this movie before, but I've never sat down and watched it fully. But this time is my first time ever watching this entire franchise and here are my thoughts on the Expendables. Up with my positives on the Expendables is the cast. You got a great cast here. You got Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, uh, Terry Furry. No, that's not his name. Something like that. I don't know. And you have a great cast here. I feel all of these cast members are great. They play their role well. The standout is obviously Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham. I've become a huge Jason Statham fan over the years. I feel that a lot of the movies that he's done are been very good. I feel a lot of the movies that he's been acting have been pretty good. It's kind of a shame that he's really only known for Shaw from the Fast and Furious franchise, because a lot of people have said that every time they think of him, they always think of Shaw from Fast and Furious, which I will admit that is the first character that comes to mind when I think of Jason Statham. But I feel his performance in this movie is good. I really like him in this movie. He has great chemistry with Sylvester Stallone. And who doesn't love Sylvester Stallone? He is such a great actor. He really helped Hollywood back in the day. Back in my day. Sorry. You got movies like Rocky, Rambo, and there's probably another franchise out there that I'm not thinking of, but those are the two that come to my mind. But what I also kind of like is that Sylvester Stallone also directed this movie like he did with the Rocky movies. I feel he did a better job with Rocky than in this movie, but he still did a pretty good job. I really like the cast in this movie. They have great chemistry. They're all great together. They're all fun together from what it seemed like from behind the scenes that I saw. I really like this cast. Hell, you even got Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo. You didn't get to see him much. Next positive has to do with some of the cast members and the characters, which I'll talk about later. Is I actually really enjoyed the comedy. There's a few comedy moments here with the characters that they're bickering, making jokes with each other, and just having fun together. Like just simple like knife throws at a dart, and where they're making fun of each other. Like how this guy is talking about his ear and how he would do wrestling back in like college, I believe he said. I liked all the comedy. It made me laugh. It made me feel for these characters, and I thought they were all pretty funny. And a lot of the jokes I understood. What? Speaking of characters, I like the characters in this movie. They're all enjoyable. They're all likable. They all have good chemistry with the cat. Along with the cast and characters, I feel the characters are great, and the cast members who play these characters have great chemistry. But like I said with Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham, I really like their characters. I will get to one of the characters later, and I'll give my thoughts on him later. But I enjoyed a lot of the cast here. You got Sylvester Stallone's character, who is a pretty enjoyable character. I can't remember all their names on the top of my mind. But I like the characters in this movie. They're enjoyable. You feel for them. Even just simple stuff going on with Jason Statham's character, where he comes back to his girlfriend or fiance. I don't know what happened at the end of the movie, but you just see personal stuff going on where he comes back after a month and his girlfriend sees him and he's just like, "Oh, I wish you called at least told me." And I was like, I bet there's gonna be a scene here where she's been with another dude for the past month, and then that's what it ends up being. I was like, oh, yeah, I saw that coming like a mile away. But you got personal things going on where Jason Statham's character finds out that his girlfriend has been cheating on him, I guess you could say. And then he's kind of going through an emotional wreck throughout the movie, and then he finds out that she was abused by this guy that she was dating, and then he goes to a basketball court and just beats the shit out of this guy and all of his friends to show her what he actually does for a living and what he's capable of. Just personal stuff like that just shows that Sylvester Stallone is great writing characters because he helped write the screenplay of this movie, and that just shows that Sylvester Stallone can write good characters. Being an action franchise, I like the action in this movie. It's really good. I think that the explosions, the gunfights in this are violent as fuck. Can I mention that? This movie is violent when it comes to its action, where people's like bodies are being shot off like completely. Like there's one dude that gets shot in the beginning, and his whole freaking half of his body, like his waist, just gets shot off. Like it's just bread cut, like it's just a knife cutting through butter. Like I don't I can't I couldn't help but laugh at that when I was watching this movie. When that happened, I kind of laughed because it was just so out of nowhere and so crazy that I couldn't help but laugh at it for some reason. But the action in this movie is good. You even got a good scene where Sylvester Stallone is kind of running away from a whole mercenary people where they're shooting at him. There's huge explosions where he's trying to catch up with the plane that they're about to take off with, and then they like shoot down at them. They pour gas at them, which makes no sense how Jason Statham was able to shoot a flare like so far away from him to set off the gas. This movie's ridiculous. And yeah, I don't understand how that scene worked, but hey, it's action, I guess. My final positive is the fight choreography in this movie. There's pretty good fight choreography with Jason Statham, like this one scene in the desert. Was it in the desert? Was it? I think so. Maybe. I can't remember. And where he's just fighting all these dudes, throwing knives at him one by one, taking down dudes, throwing a knife at people, and all that. Where Sylvester Stallone's just shooting at these dudes, like scenes like that, which were really good scenes in my mind. I really like those scenes. Like, I really liked fight choreography in this. And what something that I really liked about this movie was that one scene in this movie. Sylvester Stallone actually almost broke his neck filming a scene because he wanted to make it seem realistic when he was fighting a guy when he was in like a chokehold in one scene. And that scene where they did it so many times, it almost dislocated his neck, which basically almost broke it. And that just shows how committed Sylvester Stallone is committed to his movies. Like, you got the Rocky franchise where they were actually throwing punches in a ring, and now you got this movie. Just shows that Sylvester Stallone is an action hero and just a great dedicated actor. Moving on to my negatives, and I don't have many negatives. They're just a few nitpicks here and there. Well, actually, this one isn't a nitpick. And that's the CGI used in this movie, and they use it a lot. Like, a lot. Where they're, like, shooting at people, and there's CGI blood. Ugh, the horror fan in me is getting mad, really, like, right now. When that would happen, showing, like, CGI blood, like, the horror fan was like, it's just an action movie. It's just action. It's not in the horror genre, it's just action, but it's pissed me off. And then there's scenes where they're shooting people in half, where it's just CGI. There's a There's a fire scene in this movie where Stone Cold Steve Austin is also in this movie. I forgot to mention that. And he gets lit on fucking fire. And the way he dies is where this guy lights him on fire and then, like, punches him and then kills him. That is something out of fucking Mortal Kombat. That is something directly out of Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry I'm laughing. But that shit is so ridiculous. This movie is fucking ridiculous, by the way. Oh my god. Like that scene, I was just like, it looks so bad. Like it looks something directly out of fucking Mortal Kombat. And I was just dying laughing. I was like, what the fuck is that? And the first thing that came to my mind was like, dude, that is something directly out of fucking Mortal Kombat. Now, this is the only character in this movie that I did not like. This is a character I just flat out do not care for, and that is Gunner. He's the guy. His actor is the guy who plays Ivan Drago in Rocky 4, which is another thing taken from Sylvester Stallone, who made this movie. He casted him in this movie because he was in Rocky with him. He casted him in this movie. I love his performance. He's a great actor, especially the recent news coming out. Was it this year or last year? I think it was, yeah, it was this year. Where he came out and said that he's been battling cancer over the last few years. I hope he gets better. Rooting for you, buddy. But his character in this movie, Gunner, he's kind of a dick. Like the first time we meet him, he's already bickering with the crew where they're telling him not to do this, but he's already doing it, and then we find out he's working for the villains, but then we find out he doesn't want to. It's like, dude, pick a fucking side. And just his character alone is just like I don't care. He's a dick to the characters anyways. Like half the characters, he even says like, "Oh, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you." It's like, dude, fuck off. For my final negative is the villains. I don't hate the villains. One of the villains is played by the guy who plays Batista in the Dexter TV series. Highly recommended show. If you have not seen it, please do yourself a favor. If you have Paramount Plus, please go watch that. But that we're not here for that. But the guy who plays Batista and Dexter's in this, he's the really only reason that I don't hate his villain is because it's played by Batista. And then the other villain who is kind of forcing him to do all this. I don't like their villains because they're just generic. They're generic as fuck. Because they're just villains that I've seen before. Oh, we rule the country, you gotta do this and that, or we'll fucking waterboard you or shoot you. Yeah, I've seen that before. Just could you have done better? Could you have done a tiny bit better than that, Sly? Come on, I know you've written great villains. I've seen the Rocky movies, I've seen the Rambo movies. You can make good villains, but no, we're gonna make this fucking gangster in this Roman Empire. Hello, guys. I like Expendables. I really enjoy it. If you're just looking for a movie with a lot of explosions, a lot of gore, a lot of stupid comedy with fun characters, this franchise is definitely for you. But, well, not this franchise, but this movie is definitely for you. But go in with low expectations. Don't have your expectations extremely high, but I would still recommend that you go out and buy the Expendables. What do you guys think about the Expendables? Have you seen it? What'd you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. But of course, until my next video, I'll see you next time.